on the ground is where there was a log that disintegrated and was reduced to the minerals that were left in it, like the iron. Anyway, demoralizing America by rubbing their nose in the fact that their own country did 9/11 and that they weren't even smart enough to see it, or they weren't courageous enough to say it and do anything to stop it, demoralizes them and kicks their knees, kicks their feet out from under them, and they topple real easy. They fold. They say, okay, you're right, we're not all about freedom and liberty. Turns out we're the terrorists. My bad. We'll salute whatever flag you raise. And that's what they will do to take down the final piece of the American empire, is the demoralization process, so you don't think you have something worth fighting for and defending. And that's what this is all about, is to get you to realize you are a slave. You are on a plantation. And to defend what you think you know is simply upholding the status quo that master has indoctrinated you with. And if you want to stay on the plantation, that's your choice. But if you hang on, instead of letting go and acknowledging the truth that now sits right in front of your face, then you're going down with the ship. And if you wait until the last minute to let go, the ship has a suction to it. That right at the end, there's going to be a lot of people jumping ship, and it's going to be a little too late because of that suction that happens around the ship as it goes under the water. It sucks everyone who is still within close proximity to it down with it. Right now is your opportunity to let go and discover true morality. What it means to be a good person. And they've weaponized our desire to be a good person. Right here was a log. You can see the reddish brown streak. They have weaponized all of our desire to be a good person. And they can get you to do some horrific things in the name of being a good person. Send your son off to the meat grinder. Operation Mincemeat was literally the name of one of those wars. And people send them. Sure, we don't want to be shamed by the people in the neighborhood. You got to support the troops. Either stand behind the troops or stand in front of them. That's what the bumper sticker said. Go off to war, little Jimmy. But mom, dad, no one's coming back. Everyone's dying over there. Go, you can't shame the family. In the name of being a good person, people will do the craziest things. Like join Black Lives Matter, and they say, go burn down that building, and that'll make you a good person. That'll prove that you really support the cause. Okay, and then I'm not racist, and then I'm a good person? Yeah. In the name of being a good person, go burn those witches. They're herbalists, they're pagans. Go burn them at the stake to show that you're a true believer in Christ. Okay, and then I'm going to heaven, then you'll tell me I'm a good person? Yeah, then you're a good person. I've told you, these people will kill you. They think you're a diseased monster who's spreading the illness that's gonna kill their wife and kids because you're not wearing a mask, and it's already resulted in people dying over fights over this dumbass mask because they're too fucking stupid to see this, but they'll go about their business every day as if this doesn't exist because their mind's eye is closed and they cannot see what with their mind's eye. You can only see what your mind will allow you to see. This one has a hole around the base. So, this mask is an initiation process. By the way, this is all part of Greg Braden's video series called Awakening to 0 Point and Beyond 0 Point, the collective initiation. This fire you see is due to 0 point magnetics, solar radiation, and ground current burning the trees from the inside out. That's what happens at 0 point when the magnetic field has reached zero. That was the reference in the title, Awakening to 0 Point, 0 point magnetics. And beyond 0 point, the collective initiation. We are in the collective initiation. And it is initiating us to the understanding that we are slaves on a plantation. And you can either serve the master that you've been serving here on this planet that's giving you all those ideas that you think make you a good person. Or you can acknowledge that this master isn't a very good master. And can you picture what will be so limitless and free, desperately in need of some stranger's hand in a Desperate land. And they're going to make you desperate to the point where you approach God defenseless with the trust of a child, knowing that you are desperately in need of a stranger's hand. And this has become a very desperate land. And the people that you call the church that you think are on your side are the Antichrist. They are the ones that instituted this mind control propaganda that we call Christmas to make sure nobody actually develops a real relationship with Christ. It doesn't take a genius, it doesn't take a psychologist, it doesn't take a theologian. Once you open your mind enough that you can see, that breaks the child's trust in the people around them to realize everyone around me lied to me and conspired against me to put me in a false reality, so I will never trust these people again, and I will always be jaded and wonder where the next time I'll have to learn that everyone around me was fooling me and the joke's on me. So set the whole Christ aside, and that shatters the kids' hopes and dreams. And I thought I was a good kid. I thought that's why I was getting presents every year. Turns out they were just lying to me, and it's all part of some big facade that they all partook in, and you engaged in this, and you put your own child through this because you wanted to be a good person, and you said, well, I'm just treating him to a Christmas so they can have some fun. And you didn't even see it up until this point, and the reward of a lifetime is awaiting you if you are willing to receive it. And when you receive the call that says, come with us, don't ask who are you, or where are we going? Unless you want to stay here, that's the alternative, to sleep in the bed that's been made for you by us. In our own ignorance and unwillingness to see what sits right in front of our face, instead of going, this is some pretty fucked up shit to hurt the kids like this and pull this trick on them. And then when they grow up, when they're finally figured it out, their dreams have been crushed and they figured out that it was all bullshit. Not only does it diminish their trust in the people around them, it almost absolutely 100% guarantees they won't fall for it again because they got hurt the first time that someone told them about the guy in the sky that wants you to be good for goodness sake. My point is, the only way out of here is to develop a personally relevant, personally meaningful understanding of morals and ethics, determine for yourself what it means to be a good person, and do it. And when you do that, you can see clearly that the people who are pulling this fucking psychological operation called Christmas did it right from the very beginning to make sure no one finds Christ. And once you can see that, it becomes very clear the churches that shut their doors in your time of need and abandon you were never there for you in the first place. And that's why abandonment is necessary here and now. So you realize that you're going to stand in front of God, not with your friends, not with your family, not with your wife and kids, by yourself. Your church won't be there, your family won't be there. And at that point where you're recognizing everything you held so dear disappeared without a trace, because your friends and your family will turn on you. As soon as you go against the grain of what the group says it takes to be a good person, and you say, I think this is kind of fucked up that we put our kids through this, and I think it's actually detrimental to their mental and emotional health and their relationships with other human beings. They become jaded and cynical and distrustful of the world in general, let alone they're never going to find a relationship with Christ after you fucked them over the first time. Pretty obvious, isn't it? Once you can see it, it's absolutely 100% obvious, but most people can't see it. And the reason I know that you couldn't see it up until now is because I couldn't see it up until now. But this is the time when these truths make their way to the surface. And those who are willing to let go of everything they thought made them a good person and recognize the people around them, those institutions, are no different than Black Lives Matter. Utilizing people as tools, as useful idiots, as cannon fodder to go do their bidding, and in return, those institutions will tell those people, you're a good person now. You burned those witches at the stake. You burned down that AutoZone and broke the glass in that AutoZone. Now you're not a racist. Oh, good. Those churches are as diabolical as you can imagine, and once you see the Christmas psyop alone, proves it. Absolutely proves it. Just like this tree proves it burned flamelessly. You know why? This branch is unburned. All these branches up here are completely unburned. Brown. They're not black, they're brown. The focus isn't helping too much. There you go. Now you can see the brown wood. Not black. It still has the outer bark on it. Unburnt. Right there on the tree. Center screen. You see that unburnt piece of wood right there, center screen? Right there. All these branches that come out are also brown and unburnt. That means this whole tree, look closely, burned without a flame, or those flames would have reached up and burnt those pieces of wood. When you open your mind's eye and you decide for yourself, I'm qualified to do this. I'm qualified to think for myself, to interpret what I see. I don't need someone to tell me what it means to be a good person, and that if I do what they tell me to do, then I'll be saved. Because those people, they can't even see what's right in front of their face and do whatever they're told in order to get the validation of their peers, and told that they're a good person for sending their kids off to Operation Mincemeat, or for burning some witches, or for breaking some windows and burning down someone's house, and then they'll be told that they're a good person. That's not the kind of people I want to be with. All you have to do, it's the golden rule, do unto others as you would like to have done unto yourself. And that means be the kind of person that you would like to be stuck in a group with other people that are just like you. That's all it takes to be a good person. And that's what's happening right now. And if you're not willing to let go of those groups of those people, then you're going down with the ship. Letting go of those groups of those people who still haven't told you about the plasma fires, who still engage in this Christmas psychological operation every year on the kids to make sure nobody finds Christ, and our trust in our fellow man is shattered when we invest all of our hopes into that psychological operation known as Christmas, and worship the Christ figure right next to the other Christ figure on the same day, and then we're told, no, that one was fake, but the other one's real. If you can now see that, that alone should be enough to let you relinquish your grasp to that group and recognize they were never here to help you. They were never here to help you discover how to be a good person or to get a relationship with Christ, or they would not have allowed that psychological operation to carry on the way they did for generations and generations. One generation is all it would take. If we canceled Christmas this year, 10 years from now, there would be a lot of 10-year-olds who are enrolled in church and recognizing that there is a truth in that story about Christ. But that Christmas psyop makes sure that they don't want to get hurt again. Well, we're coming to the end. This is the end of the road. This is the end of this era. And letting go of those people, some people are going to, oh no, I want to be saved. All I got to do is defend Master's rules like my life depends upon it. And Master says that then I'll be a good person if I just pretend to believe in this thing I don't understand and call it faith. That's the trick. You cannot believe in something you don't understand. It is an oxymoron. It's not possible. And my Zoom's not working now for whatever reason. Maybe, oh, hold on. There we go. You cannot believe in something you don't understand. That's an oxymoron. And to say that you believe in what I just said, even though you don't understand what it means, and call that faith, we don't need any more of those people. We need a lot less of those people. Because in a world like that, where people seek the approval and validation of others to declare themselves a good person rather than discovering and asserting that I am holy, I don't need some guy that calls himself father or priest to tell me whether or not I'm a good person. I can bless something just as well as he can. That's what Greg Braden said in his video, who more holy than you? I thought only holy people bless things. Who more holy than you? Who have traveled through this world so far, and you can at this point either choose to receive the reward of a lifetime or come back and do it again until you figure out how to be a good person, rather than asking someone else to tell you what it means to be a good person. This branch is unburned. These branches are unburned. That's the option you have right now. And I know a lot of the people that watch this channel found the appeal of the way that I allude to Christ. And I've been directly very open and honest with my experience. It was a heartfelt, tear-drenched prayer to Jesus Christ that changed my life. But obviously I've been being prepared for this for much longer than just the last 2 years. Trying to get it to show you that this is flameless. There you go. Kinda. You can see this is unburnt. This is so highly burnt that if there were any flames coming out from here, it would have burned the underside of this. Are you willing to trust your own senses? Are you willing to think for yourself? Are you willing to have a personally relevant and personally meaningful understanding of morals and ethics and a code of conduct which you have derived? You know, that's why so many people in Alcoholics Anonymous get sober, is because they allow you the ability to discover God of your understanding without telling you what his name has to be or if it's a guy or a girl, a higher power of your own understanding. And that's what gets people sober in there. You gonna stick to the dogma of Christianity and say, oh no, it's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Squirt, and I don't understand any of it, but I'm just gonna stick with it. And the problem is, people have invested in something. After a while, they keep investing, even though it's a bottomless pit. They can't seem to cut their losses and recognize, these people have led me astray. These people are running a psychological operation called Christmas that makes sure none of us find Christ, while at the same time, telling us they're Christ, vicar, and the representative of Christ on earth. They're the exact opposite. They are the wolf in sheep's clothing. And if you can't see that, then maybe next time around, you'll trust your own senses and be able to determine for yourself what's right and wrong and real and true. But if you can't see that, it's because you're so highly invested in groupthink that you're like the people that think this is forest fire. You can't allow your mind to see what's right in front of your face. And right now is the time to let go of everything you thought you knew, because no one comes with thinking they know something. It's that thing that you think you know that will prevent you from coming with. That will reduce you and limit you to a very narrow response range. Retaliatory combative response to those green dragon, serpent, devil, Satan, Lucifer, pagan witches. You want to be one of those people? We're sinking the ship, because the mind control has been so strong for so long, it does not allow individuals to develop consciousness within a forest of others who demand conformity and derive morality from the validation of the other mind-controlled slaves. You want off the plantation? That's the difference between a slave and a prisoner. A prisoner wants to get out, and anytime they receive an opportunity, they grab that rope that's been thrown over the wall, and they get out. A slave doesn't believe they can do it on their own, and that master provides for me, and he's given me a good life, and he's a good master. And they try to keep all the other slaves on the plantation from escaping. Like people that run around telling you, wash your hands, it's the law, wear a mask. They're spiritual Karens. And if you're going to be a spiritual Karen, we don't need you. Where we're going, there are no spiritual Karens. There are self-actualized individuals who've lived a lifetime and come to know the difference between right and wrong, who have a higher level of consciousness and promote the growth and development of others rather than the conformity to dogmatic nonsense gibberish and tell them that makes you a good person. If you repeat the same gibberish I do, even though neither of us understand a word of it. That's the one thing I learned. I didn't read the Bible. I watched Bible scholars like Jack Van Impe and all these others that would sit around a table debating the nuances of Scripture. And you know what I learned? They don't know what the hell they're talking about. There's 100 of them who'll have 100 different opinions on the meaning of any one Scripture. And you're going to think that your opinion of it, your 101st interpretation, is going to get you somewhere good?